So another question I get asked a lot is, how did you gain such an impressive Rolodex? How do you know all these people that have such influence in the world? And the truth is, I didn't just get handed them through family relationships or natural connections. Like, I did have to build this network completely on my own. And I did so by actually just genuinely caring about people. I love to collect human beings because they're so much fun. And I think by essentially always being curious and never taking for granted anyone, whether it's your taxi cab driver or your waiter or an intern or, of course, somebody that you would obviously know is high profile, like an executive of a company, don't make assumptions about what they could or couldn't do for you. They're a human being, and get to know them. Try to invest in them as much as you can. Learn about what their passions are, because maybe they personally can't write you a check for $1 million, but they might know someone who can. And so I have stories of, I raised $3 million from a yard sale from my neighbor who was buying our surfboards, because he was cousins with the owner of a multi-billion-dollar company, and then they ended up being the title sponsors of one of our big events. Another time I raised a couple $100,000 from my taxi cab driver, not directly, but again, he was interning to be a CPA in the day and driving taxis at night to pay for school, and he worked with a major foundation that ended up giving us a grant for a significant gift. And I just think it's really common in this busy world for us to quickly decipher who can do what for us. But if you just show up and take interest in people and find out where they want to make a difference in the world and see where there's synergy with what you're doing, you might be pleasantly surprised about what can come out of those connections. The other thing is be a value creator. How can you help others? Like, don't show up looking for what they can do for you. Find out what you can do for them. So maybe you take the corporate executive out to dinner and you find out what keeps him up at night. And maybe you have a relationship that you can bring to him that would help solve his problems. I think constantly investing into people, you have to have long-term accounting on stuff like that. And you'll be so pleasantly surprised if you think about relationships in terms of a lifetime.